Hi there, welcome to this beautiful fucking day. It is so gorgeous. Okay, so here's something interesting. I've been really diving in, like I said, for years. I'm just so interested in how our brain operates. I'm so interested in why it is we do the things that we do, why we believe the things that we do, why we act the way that we do. And so that's what I've been spending all my time on for years. Like I said, before that, since 2007, I was working as an intuitive healer. Loved it, absolutely loved it. But then when I got sick, it was like time to do my work. And what I really started to do was like ask questions of the divine. And interestingly enough, my relationship with the divine just continued to change. And I'm never here to tell people what God is or isn't, but what I'm here to encourage people to do every day is to connect with whatever it is to them and really start to lean in and ask questions and feel your emotions, notice your thoughts, but then also recognize that there's something else. We put so much value in the world and everything around us, and we work so hard to prove ourselves, to try to get value from the world, to try to get this sense of accomplishment, whatever it is. But there's a place, or there's like a time where we wake up and we're like, wait a fucking minute here. Why am I trying to make it in this fucked up world? Like, why do I care what people in the world think of me? Why am I more concerned with shallow people than I am with the actual creator of the universe? Like, right? And that's when life changes. And for me, that's when life truly changed. Like I said, I set out on this, self-discovery in 2007, but it wasn't until I got cancer the first time that I really started to experience what the moment held for me. And it wasn't always pretty, let me tell you that. It wasn't always pretty. And I remember being in so much fucking pain. When you go through chemo, you go through some motherfucking pain and you're sick, and it's not a fun experience, let me tell you that. But what you get to do is really experience the spaces between the pain. And when you experience those spaces between the pain, you become so grateful for those spaces between the pain. And it's like those spaces then begin to expand and expand and expand, and you look forward to those times that you don't have pain. And I feel like what that does for us is really set us up for how blessed we are to live this life. And what I experience is these really incredible times where I'm so grateful and I just feel so held by the divine. And I know that everything is working out for me, for us. I know that everything is working for us. And then something happens, and I start to get deeper in my thoughts, more pulled by the voices in my head, which are coming from these beliefs that I'm not good enough, that, the world is a scary place, or whatever it is. And then I start to doubt. And then it takes a while for me to get back into my heart to the place where I'm really believing again. So this is what we're doing is we're I want to talk about this every day because I want to remind you that there is that place, and it's in your heart. Like, it's in your heart. It's like we're pulling heaven into our hearts. We're pulling heaven Like we're entering heaven in the moment, but we have to be aligned with that moment in order to have that experience. So what happens when we die? Not sure. I have some ideas of what I hope happens because my dear mom passed away. But what I'm really concerned about is what happens here on earth. And what we get to choose every day is a form of heaven. And like I said, no matter what, like sometimes we can do all the things that we're supposed to do. We can do our meditations, we can pray, we can play, we can, go to the gym, we can do all of the things that normally work. And some days it's harder to get into our hearts. Sometimes it's harder to feel those spaces of gratitude. And that's where you do more. And I'm not saying do more to accomplish something for this world. We do less for the world and more for ourselves. And I think that's actually the key here, is to do less for the world and more for ourselves. And when we begin to do that, we really connect to the truth. And the truth is that there is a divine unfoldment. There is a plan for a purpose. There is a higher power. And like I said, I'm not here to tell you what that is, but I'm here to remind you every day to connect with it. I have found different ways. And like I said, as hard as my cancer journeys were, and as hard and fucking painful and awful as the last 10 years of my life have been, I would not trade any of it, because it has taught me how to find the divine in the moment, how to experience this heaven on earth. And like I said, it's not like you do it and then you're always in that space. Levels of consciousness means to me, levels of consciousness actually feels like it's like us going deeper and deeper into our hearts. The deeper you get into your heart, the less you worry, the less you're afraid, the less you're angry, the less you're sad. Because when you're deeper and deeper into your heart, I feel like you're actually closer to the divine, which means you know that you're held, you know that you're safe, you know that you're loved, you know that everything is happening for you. In the Bible, I actually heard the other day, some people were talking about the Bible and other books, and how many times in these books the main focus always was fear not. And I always thought that in the Bible it was 365 times it said a version of fear not. Well, actually it was, he said the King James Version. It said 365 times there was a different version of fear not. So if all of these incredible books are telling us to not be afraid, why would we then be afraid? That also is telling me that there's an energy out there that has continually been speaking to people through the ages, and the message that is coming through. Like, God did not write the Bible and throw it down to earth. Like, some people are just so engulfed in the Bible, like it's the gospel truth and God wrote it and sent it down from the heavens. It was a bunch of people that had visions, and they came back and they spoke about their visions, and they wrote about their visions. And there were people on earth that decided what went into this book and what didn't. So there's that too. But what I do want to share is we're all saying the same thing. We're all experiencing the same thing. When we're really, really deep into our hearts, we're experiencing the same thing, which is when you're held by the divine, you are not afraid. And so that's where I continue to do it every day. And today was a much harder day for me. I have a lot of pain in my legs since the chemo. I don't fucking know what that shit did to me. But I live in a lot of pain, and some days are worse than others. And today happened to be a really, really hard day. I'm in a lot of pain. But I'm also very deep into my heart. And then I seem like I get pulled out, and then I'm pulling myself back in. So I'm just going to do a session now so that we can see which level of belief we're working with. Because for me, I feel like when we shine this light on the darkness, we're actually healing on some level.